My name is Dan Paulson, and welcome to my channel. I have been working on interpreting pretty much all of the religious, spiritual, and mythological texts from antiquity and demonstrating that they nest the same inner teaching. I'm still making mental readjustments on which direction to go with my topics, I guess, with my channel. I thought I had an idea, then I go out and explore a little bit, and I'm dismayed at humans. There are so many people today that just proceed with conviction and answers that cannot be demonstrated. And it's epidemic. If I get onto somebody's site and talk to them about Egyptian artifacts or something, suddenly you're being screamed and yelled at because you question whether or not some ancient civilization made it or machinery was done. People are convinced of things because of something they've heard, and they are unreasonable, and many of them are completely incapable of having a normal conversation about options. And it becomes very unpleasant just trying to communicate with people. I don't get that. We should work together. It doesn't quite work that way, does it? It's funny, but it's sad. You know, some of the things that I note right up front is that that people have an incredible amount of conviction about being right simply because they've heard somebody say something. They give a lot of authority to people. It's kind of a group dynamic that I don't, because I'm an introvert, I'm outside of that. I don't get caught up in that. But from the outside, you can observe it happening where a leader of somebody somehow that is taking the reins and leading one kind of a charge someplace, and people gather up and group up with that individual. It really looks like tribes are being formed, and it's us against them. People really don't work together. But then people are a lot of times people think they are right when they are very much just following a group. How does that work? If somebody were to tell me so-and-so in this religion is the utmost authority, they're the ones that tell you what's going on, they're the ones that you get your information from, I would dismiss that out of hand. There is no authority to me when somebody has a belief that I don't even see it as a reality. What's an authority? An authority there is somebody who is in that group, and somebody that the participants in that group provide the mental authority to that individual by listening and saying, okay, you're right. Although none of them can still demonstrate it. So the authority is what you find. The real authority is what is real, of what is true. And you follow evidence, not people. And you also don't follow a preconceived conviction, honestly. If you are already of a certain belief and you're looking for answers, you are not going to find what is truly there because you have a belief already that you need to abide by. You will find answers that are satisfactory to you. You probably won't be finding the truth. You're going to be finding what feels like the truth, what you think is the truth, what you like to hear. It's going to be your truth, but it won't be the implicit truth. That's for most people. I think it would be good for us emerging off of the savannah to think we're right. We want to go. We want to move. We want to go someplace else. We need to keep spreading out. If we want to emerge as a species, we need to occupy every ecological niche that we can. We're going to spread everywhere, and we're going to find ways of going. We're all going to think we're right. Most people are going to probably die along the way. But without trying and without thinking you're right, you're not going to try, and you're not going to emerge, and we're not going to figure things out. So there's a growth process there that looks like, oh boy, that would have been very important at one point in time for us. And then you watch today, and we have language and education, and we are no longer having to fight over resources. Now, there are places in the world where they still are fighting over resources. And when it comes to oil and things like that, oh yeah, we're still fighting over resources. We're still killing over resources. Although now it's a power. It's a different kind of a thing. We've emerged. We're no longer just looking to survive. We're looking to have more than somebody else. We're still emerging. But if you look, you will see, I see two primary kinds of people. The ones that are very group tribal, they work together. They care for each other. They care for people. They do all of the things that we talk about as far as love and caring. But if you observe, you will see that they do it in their group. And outside of their group, they have to demonize people. The other class of people I see are the ones that look at humanity as a group, not as individual races, but as one large entity, and that has a different outlook. That's a smaller group of people, though. So it looks to me like what's happening is that the groups are still emerging and still growing and still outgrowing their space and needing to leave and needing to leave conflict behind and go elsewhere. But walls are being put up and barriers are being put up, and some people are accepting them and some people are not accepting them. What we're looking at, to me, is a very emergent tribal behavior with all kinds of modern excuses used to kind of ignore that behavior, that's what's going on. But everybody's doing it. Everybody participates in that. And today we have filled up, we have no more valleys to go to. And we're getting bigger and we're still emerging. And we need to wake up to that. We need to understand that we are going to hurt and kill each other. And honestly, there's a lot of people on this planet that's exactly what they want to do. It's keeping the valley for yourself, for your tribe. And we have enough potential now. We've been around long enough to really wreak some havoc for everyone. It's not about, Anyway, so I don't want to get involved in those groups, in those sites. I do believe there are things to look at, fun things to see, but you just have to kind of look on your own. When you take your ideas into public, if they're very grounded, they're in a smaller minority. And I might make that more clear by an example. As I was looking at things like in South America at Sacsayhuaman, the big stones, the big polygonal stone structures that are in there are mind-boggling. And I look at those and think, wow, I don't quite see how those were made. That's not the only part of the picture. We also have Egypt and groups of people over there that are looking at things and honestly saying that the Egyptians could not have done it. They took it over. They ignore evidence and say that it just couldn't have been done, that they were too primitive, when they're actually plugging in things, creating a false narrative. I think the Egyptians were very capable of doing everything that was there. South America, you look at that and go, okay, there's something there we don't know. There was something bigger. And now we have supporting evidence, perhaps with the LiDAR images that are showing, wow, there was massive civilization there that we weren't aware of. There was a lot more people than we knew, and it's all hidden in the jungle. And so what you can look at in those stones then and say, wow, man hours. Yeah, they're a long time ago, maybe earlier than what we think. There was a lot more people than we know. And of course, that's not supported by science. So science doesn't go there. And I understand that. These big stones are mind-boggling, and I have a difficult time wrapping my head around the explanation. That's it. That's where the evidence takes you. The evidence doesn't take you to big stones can't be explained. Therefore, because of the way they're cut, it had to be superior technology, because that's what it would take us today to do. And not only could they not have done it, who you're telling us, that it had to be done by somebody earlier that is gone, that had superior technology. And furthermore, science and archaeologists are maintaining a narrative that is false because they're afraid of their jobs and afraid of, and you suddenly go, why did you do all of that? We have big stones that can't be explained. That's where the evidence takes you. Beyond that, you can theorize. Maybe, could be this, could be that. But you don't just start creating divisions, and that's what you see happening and go, well, man, you guys don't speak for me. Yeah, that's the kind of crazy stuff that happens. People just get extreme and unreasonable. I think what I'm going to do is then just stick with kind of the thing that I have been doing, because that's unique. It's not interesting. I know it's not. And it's long and drawn out. But, well, anyway, it seems like that's my different offering. So that's what I'll go ahead and do. I don't know what to do next. Look forward to something maybe from the Kabbalion. See you next video.